Hey everyone, this is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today we're going to be talking about retail sales forecasts. So if you have a great product and you're trying to sell to retail chains and you're trying to understand how to develop the right retail sales forecast for retail buyers, this training will give you some things to think about, quick tips and strategies to help you get started today. With that said, let's get started on today's training. So let's talk about how you can create effective sales forecasts for retail chains. What that really means is buyers might be asking you questions about what you think they're going to be able to sell in stores and so forth if they work with you. Really, retail chains are all about making money. They are spending a lot to put products in stores or on their website, and they care about all sorts of things. They're also big corporations. And some of it's a little silly because you really don't know, right? You don't know how much you can possibly sell on their website based on their audience, who's actually purchasing. It's a kind of a funny business, but they might ask you about it. So I just want to give you some things to consider. First of all, don't freak out. Just think about if you are selling online somewhere, you know how much you're selling a month. If you are selling a decent amount, you can let them know based on our current things that we're doing. That is one way of explaining to a buyer about your sales forecast, right? We're currently doing this on our site. We have X number of people, so I can only imagine what we can do with you. So that's some way to explore it. The other thing is to look at similar products to yours if you don't have a lot of sales, to see what their forecasts are like in terms of how many units they're selling. How do you know that? Some of it is you're just going to have to do some guessing work, which is to go to stores, see how many units they have in their stores for that particular product. So say they sell 10 of this one particular product in a store, how many stores it's in. You can do some digging online on their websites to figure out the different number of stores. You're playing, right? So you can dig around and then do a mathematical equation as to, okay, do a little recon work, see how much they're actually probably selling and so forth. That's a little bit harder, but it's a way to do it. The other thing is on their websites. If the person's the best seller, how many units are they selling? If you can get that data, that's exciting. The other thing is you're just going to have to make it up, right? What you think you can do. One way to just ensure that the buyer doesn't hate you or freak out or whatever is try to be reasonable and give them reasonable expectations, which is when you start the conversation, just say, what is a typical, do you know how many units this particular company is selling, right, on an average? Or maybe you can extract it from their assistant buyers. Sometimes when you're communicating with these buyers, maybe you can extract some gold, like asking, what's a typical volume amount that people in our category are selling, so I can get a feel for creating an effective sales forecast for you. Really what you're doing is sneakily asking the buyer or the assistant buyer, can you give me a range of what you think is currently working for your particular category, so then I can work those numbers in, so I can work with what we're doing and then also learn from you. Those are some things that you can do to try and sneakily get information and also come up with a decent forecast. It's hard to say if you're new, but if you've been established a while, you know how to do it. So unfortunately, some of you are in totally different places in your business. Now, the other thing you can do, and something that most people don't do, is they don't go to the store manager who's been selling these products for a really long time and go to several of them for that particular store and ask them how many units you think you're selling of this. I'm really just trying to understand the business as a whole. And sometimes they'll tell you because they're really nicer than corporate. Does that make sense? So these are some fun things that you can think about. Ultimately, don't freak out. Don't get overzealous. Say, I think you're going to sell 10 million or whatever. What you're going to do is try and look rationally at the number of units in stores, what they're probably selling. Another thing you can do is go to trade associations for your particular category and see what they're saying in terms of sale forecasts and so forth. That's what you're paying for when you're working with an association. They're giving you information about your particular category. So hopefully that kind of gives you some things to think about. If you want to learn how to approach, pitch, and sell to these types of retail chains, please take a look at our Retail MBA Advanced Coaching and Training System. We essentially walk you through all these things in detail. Also, you have coaching, so you can ask specific questions about your particular category. We can really break it down on your scenario. and also how to support you there. Don't freak out about selling to retailers. Not all retailers are asking you about sales forecasts. Some are. It's good to know. Hope this helps. Karen Waksman, Retail MBA. Thanks so much.